Guys, I gotta apologize. I've been sleeping on Appoo. I have been sleeping on Appoo for a long time. In my Wano matchups video, I said he was gonna fight Brook. And now it's looking like that's not very likely because Appoo's got some moves, man. This man's got some strength. And One Piece chapter 980 showcased us that strength, and it also showcased that Kid might be even stronger. So we're gonna get into all of that and more in this One Piece chapter 980 review and analysis. So One Piece chapter 980 is titled Fighting Music, which is the battle style of Appoo, and he was the major highlight of this chapter, so that makes sense. But we start with the cover story, which I was actually interested in for the first time in a long time, because last chapter, Pound was alive. And clearly upon further inspection, this man is alive because he's by Green Bit, which is right by Dressrosa, so Oda is clearly going for this route of a family reunion. So I was really looking forward to see how he's gonna carry this out, and I don't like how it's developing, so I was probably more so looking for something more to get angry at, but Oda swerved us. He just showed Lola proposing to Gotti, and nobody cares about that, so let's just jump into action. Luffy gets right into action. There was some question about whether or not he was gonna attack right away, because they're up against a lot, right? There's so much that power that they're up against that maybe we're like, Luffy will hold back, and nope, that's not Luffy. So Luffy gets mad and Elephant Gun attacks a bunch of the Beast Pirates right away, and you know, he's just getting right into it. Chaos ensues, and what I really found funny about this was Kid's reaction, because remember, Luffy went after Kid because he was like, oh, Kid Jaggy doesn't know the plan, he's gonna mess it all up. But it turns out Kid's like, what is this guy doing? We have these disguises, we're up against a lot, let's use this to infiltrate. He's blowing the disguise, does he not realize that? So it's like Kid knew the plan better than Luffy did. And then after that we see Zoro, which I was very surprised to see Zoro because I expected him to get lost, right? Just like the rest of the Straw Hats did. Like Zoro, I thought he was just gonna get lost and then maybe have his own battle with and find like one of the Toby Roppo who are roaming around trying to find Yamato. That might still happen if they split up here, Luffy and Zoro, but I was super surprised that Zoro, even if it's a short distance, he still managed to catch up to Luffy. Unfortunately though, Zoro has the same logic that Luffy does. So his whole plan was, oh, Luffy's gonna mess up the plan trying to find Kid, so I have to make sure he doesn't do anything. And how does he do that? He cuts the tower in half. That's how he does it. And his dialogue here is super funny because he's like, oh, you just had to do it, huh? You just had to go and mess everything up and make a ruckus, and look, now that I found you, look what I found you doing, causing a scene. Meanwhile, he's got like a half a tower split behind him, and we see Kit's reaction again. He's like, does he even know what he's saying? These guys are a bunch of clowns. Like, they make no sense. And this is really funny to see because this is like the first time Kid is really like fighting with the Straw Hats. Remember when Law first teamed up with the Straw Hats? He's like, he had this super shocked expression and like he just did not know how to work with them, and like the Straw Hat dynamic is crazy. So seeing Kid experience that the same way Law did is super funny. But Zoro finds Luffy and Luffy explains to him the whole red bean soup situation, and Zoro's pretty much like, fair enough, okay, do what you want, let's cause a ruckus real quick and attack him for a little bit. And they make a scene, and this scene is obviously not gonna get unnoticed. Queen notices them, and more importantly, Appoo notices them because he identifies them right away. He's like, oh, that's Straw Hat Luffy right there, that's Zoro right there, and he takes this information and broadcasts it to everybody. Remember, he's the DJ for the Fire Festival. So Appoo comes out here and he's like, yo, check it out, everybody, it's your boy Appoo. We got some special guests tonight, this evening for the Fire Festival. Two of the supernovas have made an appearance, Straw Hat Luffy and Pirate Hunter Zoro. What you think about that, Queen? And he kind of eggs on Queen a little bit because Queen is like the ruler of Udon and the prison area, and he's like, yo, they broke out of your prison. And what's interesting here is Queen did not know that Luffy broke out of Udon prison. Now you might be thinking, yeah, that makes sense because Tama with her power tamed the head jailer and got him to lie to Queen. But remember, Orochi knew about the prison break because Kanjuro knew about the prison break, right? So that was information that Orochi knew and just decided not to share, at least not with Queen. Maybe he shared it with Kaido and Kaido didn't pass that information down, but this is very interesting to me. Now, it could mean nothing. It could be something like Oda just forgot about that, like many of the readers probably did, or it could be easily explained like Orochi like thought that he squashed the rebellion, so he thought there was no need to mention this information. Or if you really want to go deep with it, with how much betrayal is a theme and how much infighting has been showcased among the Beast Pirates, maybe Orochi, like, you know, is doing his own thing and keeping some information. Remember, like, he had that whole interaction with CP0 on how he wants, like, Vegapunk and everything. Maybe he's keeping some stuff from Kaido. We don't know. That could be something. Again, in my video, how Luffy will win the Wano War, I mentioned infighting as one of the possible reinforcements that, you know, the Luffy side gets, because that could kind of diminish Kaido's side strength if they really start to fight with each other. And ironically, that's something that Queen mentions next. Once he finds out that Luffy and Zoro are there, he says, hey guys, listen here, I have somebody that I personally wants to take down and erase, and that is one of the Tobiropo members, and I will personally be taking them down, so one of the seats will be open. Now, this could mean many things. This could mean, one, that he's just referring to, you know, the Tobiropo's mission of them fighting Yamato, and once they find Yamato, they'll challenge him for his seat, and he's not gonna hold back, and he's just gonna go all in on him and take one of them out and like kill him completely, right? That could be relating back to that. Or could it possibly mean like he found out X-Drake is a sword member, a member of the Marines? You know, maybe he found that out and wants to take X-Drake out. That could be a major development. I really wasn't expecting X-Drake's Marine secret to be revealed here. Maybe they found out he's a traitor, but I really wasn't expecting his big secret of being a secret Marine would be discovered. So I don't know how that will carry out. Or maybe it gets explained that he has like beef with another member, and we learn more about the Tobiropo and their history, and they're like a lot of tension with the calamities for sure. Maybe we'll see some development there. But either way, that was Queen's way of hyping up the crowd and kind of incorporating it to the event. He said one of the seats are gonna open, so all you gifters and headliners, you know, you could fight for that spot, and whoever catches Luffy and Zoro, you really have a good chance of getting that spot. And then we start to see the headliners and gifters. And you know, I don't think it's been emphasized enough how many Devil Fruit users the Beast Pirates have and how important that is, because here the headliners and gifters are starting to become showcased, and their designs are epic. One of them looks like Jesus Burgess, another one's like dressed like a superhero, another one's like a haunted ghost, like woman kind of figure. So, you know, they're looking pretty serious, and later on as they're chasing Luffy and Zoro, there's this like whole panel of them. You see like a giraffe, one of the number silhouettes in the back, just like a whole lot going on, showing that, you know, they have a lot of Devil Fruit users, and that's a problem. And even Luffy and Zoro says, these guys are kind of hard to deal with because they're all smile users. So, you know, the strength of Kaido and Big Mom's side is astronomical. Like, it's crazy. So it's really hard to imagine how they're gonna defeat that side. And with Oda, you know, hyping Kaido's side even more here, I'm really expecting maybe this will lead to a major reality check for Luffy's side and like a tonal shift. But then we get to the highlight of the chapter, and that is Scratch Man Appoo, and he starts to take action himself. He starts, you know, playing his teeth, you know, doing his little instrumental thing, like building up his attack, which one thing I thought would be really funny, like what if like they can't do this because it's like copyright stuff. Imagine he was like playing bangers with like all his musical attacks. Like he starts beating on his chest and it's like do do ta do do ta. Like he starts playing Queen with his chest, or he starts playing like a musical like Mozart with his teeth. He blows on his hands and like Uptown Funk starts playing. That would be hilarious. Obviously can't happen, but just a funny thing I thought about. Either way, his attacks are no joke, because first thing he does is punch Luffy in the face, and Luffy's like, what the hell just happened? How did I just get hit? And then he does the same thing to Zoro, and Zoro gets cut. Blood spurts, alright? This went down. Like, and this drove the fandom into chaos. This made everybody go crazy because, you know, like myself included, I thought Zoro was being held back a little bit post time skip. He really wasn't challenged that much. But now in Wano, we're seeing him get some real battles, and it's like, how strong is Zoro really? Because a lot of us thought he was holding back, but you know, he fought Killer and he defeated him, but he passed out right after. And here, Appoo slashed him. So, you know, it's kind of putting into question Zoro's strength a little bit, but you know, it's still just one slash. It's not that big of a deal. What's a bigger deal is that the next attack that it goes after Luffy, which Luffy kind of like knows is coming too, but it doesn't matter. It blows him right up and he gets knocked out. He's gone. White pupil drawn and everything. The man is passed out, knocked out. And Queen right there is like, oh, that's all you got? That was quick. I wanted more action. That's what happened. Luffy got knocked out. Again, this is the second time in Wano that Luffy just got kind of one-shotted. Well, he didn't get knocked out for very long, as we see later on. But I think this is important because it really showcases Appoo is no joke. And I want to say Appoo was somebody that was slept on, myself included, because of multiple reasons, I think. One, he was a traitor for Kid, Killer, and Hawkins. And he's like the first supernova that was like a really evil person doing something so despicable as betraying his own allies. Like, Kid did a bunch of crazy stuff and all the other supernovas are no saints, but this was the first one. It's like, oh, that's really bad, right? And he's like the first, like only bad person of the supernovas. And that added into the fact that he joined Kaido's crew willingly, kind of like adding onto this role of like being subservient. I think people lowered him to a lower supernova tier, but that really wasn't fair, and it's just like a matter of us not having enough information on Appoo and like exactly why he joined Kaido's crew, because this man was no joke before all this happened. Like post time skip even, he went into Big Mom's territory and he has a bounty of 350 million, which is higher than Zoro, Sanji, Hawkins, all those guys. And as we know right now, it'll be the fourth highest. We don't know Drake, Bonnie, or Rogue's bounties, but 350 is still very, very high. Like Beija's bounty went to 350 after the whole Cake Island thing, so Appoo must have done something crazy to really get his bounty that high. And pre-time skip Appoo was even more badass. This man had some balls pre-time skip. Remember on Sabaody, where Kizaru shows up to the island, everybody's like, oh, an admiral's coming. Even Kid and Law's like, all right, let's bounce. It's time to get out of here. We don't want to deal with an admiral. And Kizaru shows up. He's right there. And everybody's like, okay, let's run. Appoo, on the other hand, he's like, nah, let's mess with him for a little bit. I want to see what he's made of. So Appoo had some balls. Like he really wanted to test his strength, and he had a lot of courage, and he actually ends up hitting Kizaru with the same attack that he hit Luffy with. Now obviously Kizaru didn't get knocked out because he's a Logia, but this is post time skip. The attack probably way stronger. It's been 2 years, and it was able to knock Luffy out. So it's good to see Appoo getting some love, showcasing his power, and hopefully we learn more about his backstory and what happened to him during the time skip. I don't want to take this too seriously either, because Zoro and Luffy, just like a few little panels later, were shown to be completely fine. They also mentioned that Appoo's powers you couldn't really see. Zoro's like, I couldn't see the slash anywhere. How did he cut me? And Luffy, even when he saw the attack was coming for sure, he couldn't dodge it. Now there was another thing mentioning Luffy's future sight, because how much he showcased it when he was in Udon, literally able to predict every move. Now there's a couple of explanations for this. One could be that he needs to be locked in and focused, which would make sense. But I also like the idea that he did see that future coming, but Appoo's attack is so different and unique, he just could not dodge it. He didn't know which direction it was coming from. And as for Luffy's getting knocked out, some people also mentioned the sound attack. Maybe it did something to his eardrums and messed with his brain, and that's how it knocked him out. And that's how he didn't take that much damage but was still knocked out. He was fine 6 panels later, but he was still unconscious for a little bit. So hopefully Appoo's power does get explained a little more in the next chapter. But after this little scuffle, Luffy and Zoro start to run away, and they kind of acknowledge, we made chaos, our disguises are gone, but we really can't take that much damage here because we gotta face Kaido and Big Mom as well. Now Kid saw Appoo early on, and when Appoo announced that Luffy and Zoro were there, and he's Appoo kind of foreshadowing this attack later. Essentially Kid jumps into action. You see Killer's dialogue in the background. It's Kid, wait, no, wait, don't attack, you'll be found out as well. And Kid's I don't care. the whole reason we got attacked and why you laugh like this now and how we got captured is because of this guy. So I don't care. Appoo, get over here. And Appoo's like very shook when he sees Kid. I don't know if that's because he knows how strong Kid is, or it's like he was just surprised that he thought Kid was captured, or in Udon, like what happened? Why is he here now? But Kid launches his attack, Punk Gibson, and this thing is badass. Okay, first, like the setup for it, you see all these swords start to fly and like Kid's dialogue starts to go, so that was just a really epic moment. Now this hand, I gotta admit, I never really looked at Kid's hand attacks that closely, but how does this work? Like, he's got gears and this thing looks like a car engine that he's got set up as a hand. Did Kaido just have a bunch of like loose screws and gears lying around like that? All we saw were like swords and stuff flying up. But Kid created this like super detailed mechanical arm Punk Gibson to attack Appoo. I'm really excited to see what else he's capable of, because what if he could like make like a big train, like just like a sea train with a bunch of tools and just attack Punk train and just ram into somebody that way, or like a big truck he can make with a bunch of like loose gears. And I'm also curious, like, what are the limitations of his fruit? Like, what if you put him in like just like a foam box, like he's got nothing around? What could he do then? Can he do anything with his devil fruit power? Of course he's strong as well, he's got King's Haki, but as far as his devil fruit, is there a big restriction on it that way? But overall, this was a damn good chapter. Initially when I read it, I thought it was just a solid chapter because in terms of story progression, not much really happened. We just saw like little fighting essentially. It felt like the chapter flew by really quick if you were really just reading the action really quickly. But after taking my time and reading it, just the small interactions with like Kid and like how he's reacting to Luffy and Zoro, and then Appoo's showcase, and then Kid's showcase at the end, it just sets up a lot for the next chapters as well. So a damn good chapter. Now for the next chapter, I'm expecting obviously Kid and Appoo's fight to continue on and see how much it escalates. Do Luffy and Zoro help out there, or do they just run away? How does Killer get involved? But I'm also really looking forward to, you know, there's so much going on. Big Mom is still changing into her kimono. I want to see what Yamato, the whole Tobiropo interaction and dynamic, what's going on there. What are the Straw Hats and, you know, Law's crew, and what are they doing? And also Momonosuke, I'm super curious about. Is Kanjuro making progression into Onigashima, and is Momonosuke starting to take action there? I'm expecting maybe little like update panels in terms of that, and then the majority of the chapter to probably be focused on Appoo versus Kid and really what's going on with Luffy, Zoro, and Kid and Killer. But before we find that out, there's a break for next week. This is probably, you know, the pattern that is gonna follow with the whole pandemic going on, which kind of sucks. But you know, it is a pandemic and Oda and his staff have to stay safe. But what did you guys think about the chapter? What do you think about Appoo and Kid and how strong they are, and how you think the next chapter is gonna go? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And as always, if you want to keep up with when I'm posting, you gotta hit that subscribe button. We're rolling on along. As of right now, I believe we're at 124 subscribers and counting, so let's keep it going. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to join the squad as well. Follow me on Twitter, I'm DKing4, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.